Okay, so back at the unit. So the first thing I'm going to do is check my dehumidifiers. See, this has been here 2 weeks. It's one of these caravan dehumidifiers full of crystals. There's no water in it at all, which is good. I'll check the one at the back. Nothing. Right. This is version 2 of my cardboard water tank. And as you can see, I got it wrong. It's actually fine up to here, and then I don't know what I did wrong. Anyway, it's scissors and sticky tape time. We'll modify it now. That is a lot better fit. And there's room here for the power cable to come round. I've got the alloy panels back from the laser cutters to weld together this tank. This is a model of the tank. So what I've got to do, I've got to put the model tank in here, in the hole made for it, there. And then I've got to mark where I want the hoses to be, because I'm going to have to weld in ports. Got to cut holes and weld in ports. So you don't want those in the wrong place. So they've got to match up with the two lower ones in some way. I'm not sure whether to make them S-shaped or straight. And then of course these come up and join on here, so there's a little bit of leeway there. It's not so critical. With the bottom ones, I'm not sure whether to make them straight or S-shaped. The advantage of having them S-shaped is it makes them easy to pull them on and off. If I have a super short, like just that kind of length pipe, how am I going to get it on each end? Because the tank won't move forward because it'll hit the bulkhead. So I've got to think about these things. So that's why I'm here today. Okay. So you can see I've got some pipes like this. So now I'm trying to figure out how am I going to get the pipe joined on. See, the problem I've got here is how do I put the hose on? I can't move this forward. So what I could do is put that hose on kind of down there, get it on in advance and rotate it out. So if I did that, this would be up tight against the tank, but I'd be able to drop the tank down from above. Then I could swivel it in, bend it forward, and then onto the pipe coming out here. Obviously it'd be lower down than that. So I've forced this on to the port partially, and you can see I'm going to bring this out at an angle which will avoid this pulley, and then the port will be kind of here that sticks out quite short, and I'll probably hammer in a depression here to allow that hose to curve round a bit. The hose might be partially made of aluminium, I don't know yet. You can see what I'm trying to do anyway. So I'm on the other side now. You can see this hose is partially pushed on down there. Then I'm going to hammer out a recess in the aluminium here, and then the hose will come up and the port will be there. You can see there. And then if you look at the alignment, it'll miss this pulley by about 1 centimetre or 2. The top hoses are easier, they just come up the traditional way. They'll come up here, join on there. Same for this one, join on there, missing the fan belt here. So just a few things on the job list. Using the aircraft yoke type steering is great when you're in the car. It's really bad when you're trying to push the car around and maneuver it on and off the trailer and things like that. It's easier with a round steering wheel. So got this is a 10-inch 1970s mini steering wheel. It's got a slight forward offset, which is good. I've got my E-Parco quick release, not Sparco. E-Parco, it's cheap. It matches the one I've got on here, so I brought that onto there. I can basically interchange my steering wheel, so this is for manoeuvring around. I mean, I could drive the car with that, but if you just want a cooler looking aircraft style one with machine gun buttons on it, I can snap that, change it over at the last minute. So that should solve that practical problem. In terms of this water tank, the plan is this is from a Rover 75. It's an oil cooler. It's from some sporting version of the Rover 75 because it's not made anymore and it was never a particularly popular model. These are quite cheap, so that will go here, right down in the bottom under the engine, and it'll have electric fans on it, and it's got 2 ports here, so water will, when the car's parked, water will circulate through this with an electric pump, which I'll show you. And the warm air will then vent out underneath the car, through the vent underneath the car, that the exhausts also fire into. And the idea was that would form a kind of Venturi system, although I don't know if that actually works or not. But anyway, it's a convenient way of cooling the water in the water tank down while the car's parked between runs, because you're probably going to look at a couple of hours between runs. So to do that, I need an electric. I've lost them off the seams. There we are. Lost them again. Never mind. You need an electric water pump, and you can see this is from, I think it's a Volkswagen. When you park your car, a modern car, you'll hear a little buzzing and the fan will still be going, and what happens, these will pump a little bit of water around the engine just as it's cooling down, especially if it's got a turbocharger or something like that, so I've been told. It just prevents hot spots forming, and you can see there's an in-port and an out-port. Most of these come with a 3-pin plug, but I don't know if you can see that, it's got 2 pins in there. So there's lots of different ones. Most have 3 pins, one for power, one for ground, and the other one is pulse width modulation, which means the more pulses you send to it, it's like a throttle, the faster it will go. So the car can vary the speed at which the water's going around. Now, I don't need that kind of complexity. I just want a small pump that's going on or off. So 2-pin ones do exist. And then the plug that goes in there is just a Volkswagen accessories plug, also shared with Skoda and other brands. So you could go online, order a 2-pin accessories plug, female actually, because there's 2 male tabs in there, and then that should work. It's a 12-volt pump, and again it's fairly low cost, and that'll be buried down there under the water tank. So that's the cunning plan. If that doesn't work, it doesn't matter, I'll just go back to plan A, which is a great big water tank, but it'd be nice to have a way of cooling it down just a bit between runs, getting some of the heat out. Well, there's a closer view. For anyone interested, that's the part number. So you see, it's not Sparco, it's E-Parco. I'm sure that's completely coincidence, but there we are. So that's my quick release steering adapter for my second steering wheel, which will interchange with this one. So if you take the tank out, you can see now where the oil cooler will go, which is going to act as a radiator. See, it's in there, under the engine. And I'm just mocking up a cardboard plate there, but if we just fits. If we take this template out, so the warm air then from that radiator will go out under there and out to the back of the car, out through the rear vent. There you see. Final step now before I leave, WD-40. So what I'm doing here is, if you look, I've designed the front and back halves of the water tank, and if we zoom in, just zoom in here, so you've got these little spikes every 10 centimeters, and I can't find the video I saw this on, but it helps when you do the tack welds, because when you tack weld aluminium, I mean, you got to be really careful. It's quite easy for it to sort of, instead of tack, the two edges of the panel sort of retreat away from each other. With this, you've got the little spike. You can sort of tap it over, zap it, and it'll tack on without using even any filler rod. So it's kind of an experiment. But if I'm having this laser cut, to do this by hand, I mean, you could do it, but it'd be pretty tedious. But because I'm going to kind of cheat and have it laser cut, because there's a company near me that laser cut me bits of metal for other projects, you can put funny little spikes all the way around. The laser cutter really doesn't care, it'll just do it. So I've got two panels like that, and I've got 19.5mm wide strips, if you like, which I've got to weld in all the way around. Then I've got to put a filler cap on the top, and then I've got to have the pipes for the various ports. So yeah, I'll probably tape it together initially once it's laser cut, and test fit it again before I start any welding at all. So here it is in the flesh. I've just picked this up from the laser cutting company. I don't know if you can see, these are the little spikes all the way around. So you can see there's a kind of tank shape which matches this, and then we've got two strips here which also have these little spiky tabs on them for the tack welding. Well, that's the plan. So hopefully we'll turn this into the same shape as that.